During my time here at Slippery Rock, I've had the opportunity to be a part of WSRU-TV and create 3 great shows with the members that are a part of it. A professor that impacted me the most would have to be Dr. Fleming, because during my time in her TV production class, audio production, and live broadcast, she has given me the confidence to show that I do have the leadership skills to hold these positions in a real-life job. And then my favorite memory of being here has been being a part of the Lambda Pi Eta telethon this past semester and being able to help raise money for the Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh.
During my time here at Slippery Rock, I feel pretty confident that I've taken all the opportunities that were presented to me. I have had experience in a whole lot of different departments, getting to meet a whole lot of different people and getting to film some pretty cool things along the way. I've loved working in the TV studio, working out in the field, covering different sports games at different events. I've made some really cool friends along the way and met some really awesome people and got to work with some amazing people and collaborate on different projects with them. I'm very lucky for the time I've had here. A professor that's made a significant impact on me has been Dr. Fleming. She was the one who really encouraged me to get more involved with student media and try some different experiments and test out different forms of storytelling, and I'm very thankful for all the advice she's given me along the way. One of my favorite memories I have here at Slippery Rock has been my involvement with Musical Theater Society. I've been able to really grow my passion for musical theater through that club and got to meet some really amazing people that I'm so lucky to be able to call my friends. I've made some lifelong memories performing with them and being able to put together productions that have been the highlights of my career at Slippery Rock.
My time at SRU has been very strange and rough, to say the least. I came in exploratory, not really sure what to do, but I ended up deciding on communication, which is probably the best thing that ever happened for me. Made a lot of good memories, and the professor that made the biggest impact on my life is probably Dr. Artman. I've had him in many classes. He has really helped me grow a lot with my work. He showed me a lot when it comes to design, radio, and advertising, which I am really excited to be able to use after I graduate. And and I don't really have one specific memorable moment from Slippery Rock, but just everything I was involved in. I absolutely enjoyed my time being a member of the University Program Board and Lambda Pi Eta. They were probably one of the 2 best things I could have ever done with my time at SRU.
My time at SRU has been very fun and very educational. Some of the things that I've really enjoyed has been working with different professors on different things such as media project management, advertising production, and TV studio production. Some of my favorite professors I would have to say are Dr. Keppel, Dr. Fleming, and Dr. Artman within the Comm department. And one of my favorite memories at SRU is being able to have a community project and be able to work with actual partners in the community.
I would say that my overall experience here at Slippery Rock was a really great one. I was able to do a lot of cool things, meet a lot of cool people, and definitely learn what I needed to succeed in my field. I'd say that the professors that I kind of connected with the most would probably be Dr. Fleming. She helped me a lot especially since the return to campus in 2021 after COVID. Dr. Dolan also helped me a ton. She was my advisor, so she kind of took part in everything that I decided and helped me find my internships and everything like that. Dr. Artman is another big one. Every time I went to him with anything, he always had the answer, I feel like. And then for my favorite memory, I would say just working with the Rocket overall. I can't really pick one certain memory, but I do remember when we had a snowball fight in the quad whenever I was a freshman at like 10 o'clock at night on a print night, and that was pretty fun. So I'd say that was probably my favorite memory.
I've been able to join many organizations at Slippery Rock. One of them being Rock PRSSA, which is our Public Relations Student Society of America here at Slippery Rock. Through Rock PRSSA, I've been able to be an account executive for multiple clients on campus. I've planned multiple events. I've also been able to connect with professionals and also my peers. Another great thing I've been able to do is I've been given the opportunity to be the social media assistant coordinator for Slippery Rock. In that position, I've been able to create content for Slippery Rock's Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I also have been able to be Lambda Pi Eta's former president, where we planned many fundraisers and group bonding events as well. A professor in the communication department that has impacted my life greatly has been Dr. Allison Pyrich. Through Dr. Pyrich's classes, I have been able to hone in on my writing skills, and I've also, through her campaigns class, been able to really blossom into a leader, and I've been able to hone my skills as a project manager, which is a skill that I will take with me into the field. My favorite memory at Slippery Rock is a recent one, actually. Through Lambda Pi Eta, we had a telethon, a 24-hour telethon. We were able to use our creativity skills to do so many different segments, and we raised nearly $3,000 for Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh. That was a super rewarding experience, and it also taught me more about TV studio production and what it takes to make a fundraiser like that work.
My time here at SRU was memorable. It was fun. I started streaming on Twitch, so that's exciting. My favorite, or my teacher that had an impact on me, I would say, is Dr. Strawler. He has helped me a lot throughout the years as my advisor and some of my teachers with social media and helping me grow my platform on Instagram and on my streaming on Twitch. My favorite memory, I would say, is definitely meeting my best friend. Her name is Olivia Kerstetter. I adore her with all my heart.
My story didn't always begin at Slippery Rock. I started my freshman year at Westminster College as a psychology major, and I shortly came to realize that that wasn't something that I wanted to do and a place that I wasn't meant to be. When I first arrived at Slippery Rock, I was closed off. I wasn't a very social person, and I actually ended up joining the National Guard during COVID. I learned a lot about myself through that time, so whenever I came back as a readmission student here at Slippery Rock, I made a great effort to be involved on campus. I joined the UNICEF Club, which I became the vice president of. I met Dr. Ludi, who is a very important person in my academic career here, as she has allowed me to build very great connections with faculty and also gave me a little bit of a push to join UNICEF. One of my favorite memories here that we did at Slippery Rock was during the fall of 2021. We held a Halloween event outside in the quad during Common Hour, and we raised enough donations to donate 12 full-dose vaccines to children in need and or children who wanted the vaccine as well. And it was just a very great experience. My time here has been nothing short of just excitement, and I'm so thankful for the people that I've met along the way.
During my junior year, I joined the University Program Board and I became the Director of Special Events, so I got to plan our travel trips. So Pirates games, Penguins games, getting to go see Hamilton, that was all me. And moving into my senior year, I became the president of the University Program Board, and I've loved my experience with that. And I've just learned through that opportunity that I love event planning, and I didn't know that was something I wanted to do coming in my freshman year. And now walking out my senior year, all the jobs I'm looking for are related to events and event management. A professor that had a lasting impact on me, I think I'd have to give it to Dr. Pyrich. Her freshman year, she was the one that picked my name out of a hat that I got to go to California. And I remember my mom calling her, and she was terrified because it was the first time I had ever flown anywhere and been on a plane, and I didn't know she had called her. So Dr. Pyrich came to me one day and was like, "Your mom called me," and she was so lovely. And when you go to graduate, I have to meet her. So Dr. Pyrich, if you watch this, you will meet my mom. Throughout my 4 years, she's really helped me grow and has taught me so much, and she's challenged me in every class I've had with her and taught me so much about myself and my professional skills and has really let me grow and develop. And a favorite memory at SRU, I think I'd have to go with homecoming court, getting to be on homecoming court and ride in the truck and have all the fun with the parade and everything. I think that's definitely a memory that's going to stick with me for a while.
My time at SRU has been an interesting one. I mean, going through school of COVID has been always interesting. But this year has been finally the year where the campus feels alive again, and being able to be here on campus has been a really a great time, especially being up in the studio and producing content. For teachers that have left an impact on me, I would probably say Dr. Fleming. Not only is she a professor I had for TV broadcast, but also she's my advisor, so it's been really great to constantly have contact with her about classes and stuff. And then my favorite memory here on campus would probably be doing the Lambda Pi Eta telethon. Just constantly being in and out of the booth and on the floor for 11 hours, producing content and raising money for charity is always a good feeling.
My time here at Slippery Rock, it's been like, the best way to describe it is transformative. I've gone through a lot of things here. The most obvious being I started as a geoscience major, which is much different than where I am now. My first semester, I kind of hated it. I was doing terrible in all my classes, and so I decided I needed to switch things up. And I moved to the Comm Department. Super unlucky for me, it was the same semester that we went home for COVID. But even though we were online, I was making so many new friends and actually enjoying my major and like actually passing my classes, which was a big plus than compared to my geoscience days. Seemed like life was like not quite out of bad luck yet. That next following semester, I got diagnosed with cancer. So that really changed a lot of the school years for me, but it also really opened my eyes to how many great professors and opportunities that the school gives you, even with like the many struggles you might be facing. I had to repeat 2 classes, which was terribly hard, but it's so incredibly kind of the professors just to let me repeat them. I got to repeat them in person, so I got a little taste of the classes both on Zoom and in person. And from then, I just was able to start joining clubs and organizations and being involved and talking to people and making friends. And here I am now, about to graduate in like 2 weeks, so super excited, and there was a lot of opportunities and a lot of change that I saw for the positive in my life here. There's always like 2 professors I always am like very transformative. They're both advisors in some sense. One is my advisor academically, Dr. Keppel. When we were online, I switched him to being my new advisor because I had an online class with him, and he was just so like charismatic, and he seemed very similar to who I was, like totally nerdy, and so I switched to him being my advisor, and he really helped me get through a lot of my classes and like understand what I was doing, especially going through like cancer treatment and missing so frequently and being out for weeks at a time. He was always there to like show me which way was best to go. And then Dr. Artman was another one who was super influential. He's my advisor for the radio station. And he was always someone I could go to and be like, hey, I have this completely unrelated school problem, and he would be there to help me with it or give me advice. And he's such a problem solver that it was amazing to have that for me. Oh, my favorite memory here at Slippery Rock. It's a very small one, but it's one that I always think back on fondly. It was our first semester back on campus after COVID, and I had made my friend Joshua Peters. We had become friends during COVID, so we had never really met. We just kind of like would Zoom call and talk over the phone and stuff. And it was our first time being in class in person together, and it was just like such a bizarre yet like amazing time. And I remember walking to class together and like actually being able to walk with one of my good friends to class rather than just hopping into a Zoom call. So I think that was probably my favorite memory.
You know, one of the strange things about graduation that I remember is, you know, we went through the ceremony, you know, shook a bunch of hands, and then afterward, you know, everybody's kind of milling around, their parents are there, families there, stuff like that. And you see some friends, you shake some hands, and at a certain point you get in the car and you drive away, and that's it. And that is the strangest feeling in the world. Two thoughts come to mind in terms of advice. One is Shakespeare's thine own self be true. And, you know, so many things could be read into that, but in terms of you leaving here, your careers, I think it becomes really important. Ethics in the workplace is a top-down thing. If top management is not demonstrating sound ethics, the workplace will be amazingly unethical. You need to think about who you are, what you're about, and the type of experience you want to have. As soon as you get out of college, save 6 months' salary, you know, start working, sock a lot of money away. You said then you will have a cushion that will allow you to stand on your principles. Second thing is, if you still have this idea that your work is, quote, good enough, that you've done enough. At this point, you need to dispel that idea. You get out there and you're going to have to bring it. You're going to have to bring your best every day. You're going to have to kind of discover what you're capable of if you haven't done it here. I think another one of the great cliches about commencements is not an ending but a beginning. So you're leaving here, and now you're beginning something completely different, completely more challenging. The level of expectations are going to be ratcheted up. So go out, work hard, invest in yourself for the next number of years. No half measures. Establish yourselves in your career. You can do it.
You might remember me from Comm 110, your freshman year, Communication Concepts, Comm 200, Civil Discourse, Comm 310, everybody's favorite class, Research Methods. I guess my best piece of advice for those of you graduating is that everything always works out eventually. As long as you work hard, you stay persistent and keep a positive attitude, things always end up working out in the best way that they possibly can, or as they should. So it's definitely easy when you graduate college to move on to the next step, whatever that is. It's all about resilience and perseverance. Maybe something doesn't work out the way you want it to, but in the long term, there's always a reason as to why that happened. I guess another piece of advice I'd like to give you all is to tap your networks. You've had opportunities to meet guest speakers and to form connections with senior presentation judges and mock interviewers. Stay in touch with those people. It sounds corny, but sending thank you notes, sending holiday cards, helps keep your mind on these people's radar. And that can lead to potential job opportunities or connections for, to grow your network. Those of you who know me probably remember that I too was a student here. I graduated in 2010 with my bachelor's degree in communication and sociology. And I'll tell you what, I wasn't really the best at staying in touch with people. And I wish I would have been better at that. But I was at a conference in 2014. So I graduated 4 years prior. I'm in my doctoral program. And I'm at a conference in Chicago, our national convention. And I'm walking out of the doors. And I had Dr. Flynn as a student here. I had him for comm law. I'm walking out of the doors. And in walking through the hotel doors is Dr. Flynn. And I'm like, I turn and my gut is telling me, go speak to him. And then I have this other voice in my head that's like, oh, he won't remember you. He doesn't want to say hello to you. But I fought that voice off and I went up to Dr. Flynn and said hello, reminded him who I was. He did remember me, and we ended up having breakfast the next morning, and that was a really good, connection that I had made, because when this job came open here at Slippery Rock, I had already had conversations professionally with Dr. Flynn in years prior, so it was kind of an easier thing. We had already established, common ground and talked about my goals in academia and things like that. So stay in touch, and you're not a burden and you're not annoying or anything like that. People really do like, hearing from you. And, just also stay in touch with your professors. Give us updates. I love nothing more than to hear from my previous students and advisees. So stay in touch with people, tap your networks, and stay positive. And just remember, no matter what happens, it will all work out. So keep a positive attitude.
Congratulations, seniors, on this tremendous milestone in your young lives. You've worked so hard, and I hope that you get the opportunity to take some time to celebrate before you head out into the workplace. As I look back and remember when I was in your shoes, the transition from being an undergraduate to moving into the workplace in many ways felt like starting over again. So if you find yourself feeling like that, I would encourage you to reflect upon all that you've learned here in the communication department as well as in your other undergraduate studies. But I do have 3 pieces of advice that I want to offer you, particularly from the perspective of having been a public relations and communication practitioner. The first piece of advice is to do a little extra. Go the extra mile. Don't be the person that does the minimum, who does exactly what you're told and nothing more. If you solicit advice after you work on a project or an assignment and you ask how you might be able to improve it, or if there are ways to be able to refine your work, or if you even ask a colleague, a boss, a supervisor for other ways that you might be able to help, that speaks volumes to your work ethic and to your character, and that's something that I think will help to set you apart. The second piece of advice is to take feedback in stride. I always tell my own students that this is a profession where you have to have thick skin, and you are going to get criticism or feedback, what have you, in the workplace. And I would encourage you to accept feedback gracefully, to not take it personally. Folks in the workplace aren't going to compliment sandwich your work. They're going to be very, very direct when they give you feedback, and it's about the work, it's not about you. Accept feedback for what it is, a learning experience. And last but not least, if you are one of my students, this will not be unfamiliar to you. Proofread your work. Proofread your work. Take the time to copy edit, to micro edit your work before you submit it to a supervisor, before you hit publish, before you hit post. That is so important. Good, strong, clear, accurate, flawless writing speaks volumes to your attention to detail. It's also a reflection potentially on your organization. It can save someone else time, and it can potentially save your organization some money. So 3 pieces of advice to consider as you move into the workplace. I wish you all the best. I hope that you keep in touch, and best of luck to you.
So one of the best pieces of advice that I received as an undergrad and carrying over into my master's and doctoral programs is that one successful journey ends and a promising future awaits. And it was a saying that's really resonated with me over the years, because I know for many of you, it's been a fun, interesting journey over the last couple years during your time here at Slippery Rock University and in the Department of Strategic Communication and Media. One of the things that we look at is for many of you, you transition from being face-to-face to online and then back face-to-face. And I think for us as faculty, one of the things that is always rewarding for us is getting to know you. And while it may have been a challenge early on, having many of you in the online environment, it's been great to be back face-to-face and getting to see each of you and getting to know you a little bit more. And what's also exciting is getting ready to see you take that next step in your journey. And I think that's one of the things that you should hopefully walk away with, is remembering that as one successful journey ends, when you walk across that stage here in a couple of weeks, that just a promising future awaits. And there's going to be bumps in the road, but it's about practicing patience at some of those times. One of the things you're going to be looking at is jobs, and you may not hear back in the time that you want, or not hear back at all. But one of the things is just remember to be patient and try, again, keep pushing forward when it comes to everything you want to do, especially when it comes to pursuing your dreams.
Hello, seniors. You might have had me in class for intercultural communication, civil discourse, perhaps communication theory, interpersonal communication. For many of you, this is a very nerve-wracking time. Some of you may have jobs already, some of you are looking for jobs, and I wanted to share a situation that happened last week. I was looking for resources, up-to-date current resources to share with my communication concepts class, and I came across a TED Talk about there's more to life than being happy. And so this TED Talk is by Emily Esfahani Smith, and we're going to include the link to the TED Talk so that you can watch it later. But basically what she said is that too often we measure happiness by success. And she's encouraging her audience to go beyond that and to really think about meaning and what brings meaning to life. And she shares 4 pillars. The first one starts with belonging and how important it is for us to have a sense of belonging in our communities. The second one has to do with purpose, and not really your purpose in terms of your career, but what is your purpose in terms of giving to the community? Not what you are going to receive, but what are you going to do to try to give to your community and to create an inclusive community. And then the third one has to do with transcendence. What is that that's beyond you? For some people it's music, for some people it's art. For me, I feel like I'm out of my own person when I see beautiful architecture and nature. And so think about what is it that brings you joy outside of yourself, but in your environment. And then the last one I think is really important, and it has to do with storytelling. And this is the story you tell to yourself about yourself. So many times, as you're going through life, you might say, I can't find a job. It's terrible, I'm never gonna find a job. But think of the experiences that you're gathering as you're looking for your job, and try to reframe your story in one that is motivating, and one that helps you to continue to persevere. And so I hope that you'll, again, take some time to watch this TED Talk. Another resource that I wanted to share with you is called The Power of Moments: Why Certain Experiences Have Extraordinary Impact. And that's by Heath and Heath. And it's another resource that can help you to think about everyday moments that we have in our lives. What can we do to make them just that much more extraordinary? So while you're waiting to get that job, while you're waiting to hear from that employer, take some time to read this book or listen to the TED Talk. With that, having said all of that, I wish you the very best. Please make sure to keep in touch and enjoy life. Do that which brings you joy, and I wish you the very, very best.
Congrats, graduates. So you made it. This is a big deal for you, because you should be really proud of your achievement, because only about 25% of the US adult population get to achieve this bachelor's degree. So you are one of those few individuals who earned this degree. And I mean earned, because you know how much effort and work you did to get this degree. So you have to be really responsible for your degree as well. So you want to make sure that you keep building on your skills, and you also want to make sure that you keep applying the skills that you learned here at the academia. You want to make sure keep building network within work and outside of your work environment as well. And don't forget that the road ahead might not be very smooth, but that is very normal, and accept the challenge and take all the responsibilities that you can. And I'm pretty sure that you have that capacity to shine in the environment, outside environment, and you will do great. And always make sure to reach out to us if you have any questions or concerns. We're always here for you to answer your queries, and don't forget to let us know about your achievements, your future achievements as well. Don't forget your alma mater. So that is another advice I would give you, because you want to make sure that you have a really good connection as an alumni, and that's how the academia gets back from you when you are in the industry. So we would really like if you come back sometime in the future and share your experience with us. Good luck again, and I wish you all the best.
You probably had me in either live broadcast production, TV studio production, audio production, or you worked with me in WSRU-TV in the Rocket. And I'm sure you're thinking as you're watching this video of all of your faculty saying goodbye, you're probably amazed with how quickly the last 4 years went. And I remember being in your position, an undergrad, their senior year, ready for graduation, on the job market or looking for internships, and it is a scary time. But you have to remember that you'll always have a network of SRU faculty, staff, and administration that you can rely on. As I always say to my students in student media, once I'm your advisor, I'm always your advisor. So please keep in touch with us and use us as a resource. Something that I talk about in my classes is that we teach you the hard technical skills in our classes, and many of you have mastered the camera, the TriCaster, podcasting equipment. You've become master storytellers. But one thing that we can't teach you, and something that's a little less measurable, are your soft skills. And that's something, your soft skills are something that you can continuously work on as you grow and develop into this next chapter of your life. So be someone that people want to work with. And remember that every person that you come into contact with is someone that you could be networking with, that could add to your portfolio and your network of professionals. Be a lifelong learner, always be open to new experiences, learn when to say yes, but also learn when to say no. That's something that takes a while to get comfortable with, because you are going to be presented with many opportunities. And also remember, and this was a piece of advice that my undergrad advisor gave to me as I was graduating, is that character is not built from successes, but it is developed from how you bounce back from setbacks. You are going to have setbacks in your career. We all have, either not getting a job, or maybe an opportunity doesn't come through like you thought it would. Never give up, because everything happens for a reason. And again, how you bounce back and come back from those setbacks are really what build your character. But that's my advice to you. Use us as a resource. Always remember that you have a family here at SRU, and we will miss you.
The following footage is a glimpse into the genius mind of Dr. David Keppel.
To the graduating class of 2023, I've been asked to give you some advice, and so today I want to talk on the subject of leadership. Being an effective leader is important for all of the graduating seniors, but you probably should not attain said leadership by murdering your first boss. Leadership is about people having certain opinions and preconceived notions of you. One way that you can do this is by having a lot of books. A lot of books make you look smart. I haven't read any of these books.
Oh, for the love of God.
Leadership is about sometimes having candy placed out that your coworkers think may be poisoned.
Go.
Cut. Leadership. Leadership is being able to say, that's mine, even if it's technically theft. Leadership should begin with a good theme music, a score to your life. For me, personally, I turn to John Williams.
Couple, we don't have the rights to that. Cut.
Leadership is all about having heroes. Like my personal hero, Darth Vader.
Oh, for the love of God, Couple. Cut.
Leadership. Have a notebook so that you can remember all of the people who've wronged you, so that when you're powerful, you can smite your enemies.
Okay, cut.
Leadership. Leadership is...
Dr. Couple, can I talk to you for a second?
Get out! Dun 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 dun.